Hello and welcome back. This is another 5th and 6th grade decimals video. In this video, we're going to be looking at how decimals look when they're written in expanded form. Okay, so you may have experience with numbers written in expanded form when they are expressed as whole numbers, where we break them up by place values and then put plus signs in between. Like 652 is 600 plus 50 plus 2. That's expanded form. When we're dealing with expanded form for decimals, we can write them in two different ways. We can write them as multiplication and adding expressions involving decimal place values, or fraction place values. So we're going to look at both in this video. So right here, we're being asked to take the expanded form that we've been given below and write it in standard form. When they're asking for standard form, they're just asking for a regular decimal, probably the most familiar to you how it looks. So what we have to do is take each multiplication expression, figure out what that's equal to, and then rewrite it as a standard decimal. So 7 times 1 we know is 7. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put that there. If we have 2 times 0.1 or 2 times 1/10, that means we have 2/10. So the shortcut here is to multiply this by this. That would give us 0.2 right there. For this one, again, we're going to take the 8 and multiply it by the 1 on this end and then rewrite it. So this becomes 0.08. That means our number has 7 ones plus 2/10 plus 8/100. So now to write it in standard form, you can either stack it up to add it if you want to, or you can put a 7 in the ones place, a 2 in the tens place, and an 8 in the hundreds place. Either way, you should end up with 7.28. Okay, for this next one, we're going to take the standard form decimal and write it in expanded form. So since the only type of expanded form we've looked at so far is the one with decimal place values, that's the one we're going to use. So I'm going to go ahead and put parentheses. I'm going to put times here, plus here. And the reason I'm going to do 3 of them is because I see that we have 3 digits that are not 0. I'm going to do this, something times something plus something times something. Okay, so I've kind of made a template that I can fill in. So now I'm going to go and write the place values that I have. So 0.7 means a 7 in the tens place. So I'm going to go ahead and write 0.1 here for the tens place. We have something in the hundreds place, so I'm going to write 0.01 to show something in the hundreds place. Forgot my little 0 there. And then we also have something in the thousands place. So I'm going to put 0.001 and put a 0 in front. So now I've written all my place values. Now I just have to write the digit that is in that place value. For the tens place, it's a 7, so I'll write that there. For the hundreds place, it's a 6, so I'll put that there. And for the thousands place, it's a 5, so I'll put that there. So this is how we could write this standard decimal in expanded form using decimal place values. Okay, here is our next example. We're going to take this expanded form and write it in standard form, which means standard decimal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and figure out what each thing in the parentheses would be equal to, and then we can put it together, just like we did in the first one. So 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 0.1 means I multiply 2 times this and then put it in the tens place. So that's going to be 0.2. 7 times 1 is 7, but I'll put it in the hundreds place, 0.07. And 6 times 1 is 6, but I need to put it in the thousands place. So that's going to be 0.006. Now I'm going to bring down all my plus signs. And again, you can stack them up and add them if you'd like, or you can just kind of push them together and write things in the place values. I think for this one, I'll show you what it looks like stacked. So 3 would just be 3, and I can put a decimal right after that because all whole numbers have decimals, just sometimes they don't. We don't write them unless we have something that comes after them. So there's 3. This is 0.2. This is 0.07. And then this is 0.006. So now if we add them all up, we end up with a 6 here, a 7 here, a 2 here, a decimal, and a 3. So this number in standard form would be 3.276. Okay, now we're going to take a look at a couple of these when they use fractions to represent the decimal place values. So again, we're going to start by multiplying and figuring out what each thing in the parentheses is equal to. So 1 times 1 is 1. 8 times 1/10 would be 8 tenths. And 8 times 1/100th would be 8 hundredths. Now this, when we do it this way, we have a middle step. We have to convert both of those fractions to decimals because they want it as a decimal in standard form. So 8/10 is the same as 8 tenths. So I'm going to put an 8 in the tens place like this. 8 hundredths is the same as, or 8/100 is the same as 8 hundredths. So I'm going to put an 8 in the hundredths place and put a 0 in the tens place. Then I'm going to bring down the 1. So now I just need to add all these together. So again, you can stack them like we did in the last problem, or you can kind of just place them in their place values like we did in the first problem. So 1.88 is what you would end up with here. Okay, here is our next one and our last one for this video. Again, even though it's fraction place values, we're going to go ahead and evaluate each thing in the parentheses, figure out what it's equal to, and then convert it to decimals. So 4 times 1/10 would be 4 tenths, or 4/10, plus 5 times 1/1000 would be 5/1000. So now here's a shortcut you can do when you're converting it to decimals. If you want to just go ahead and write out some decimal place values. So I'm going to put a ones place here, a decimal, tenths, hundredths, thousands. The reason I went all the way to thousands is because of that second number has a denominator of 1,000. So the 4 is in the tenths place, so I'm going to put the 4 here. And the 5 is over 1,000, so it goes in the thousands place. Now I can fill in whatever empty spaces I have with zeros. So here and here. So this is what this number would look like written as a decimal in standard form. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Hope to see you in another video soon.